Yes, good evening. Online people, is it audible? So, welcome to this session that is for geography optional. This is particularly for the students who are going to opt or who are making a decision about the geography as an optional subject in UPSC Mains exam. So, purpose of this session is to provide you some clarity so that it can help you in making decision about the subject. And myself, am there is one faculty for geography, general studies, and optional, and I've been teaching for optional subject last 20 years. And with me, my team members, Mr. Shivarpit and Vaishali ma'am. So we are the team of faculties who will be dealing with your optional subject at Vajiram and Ravi, right? So let us first go in brief about what the subject is and how to approach geography for as an optional subject in mains. And after completing this part, then we'll take up your queries, we'll take up your doubt related to whatever you are having as a part of your preparation or choice of the subject, right? So let us go with the initial some PPTs I have prepared here. This will help you to get some insights about to begin with, what is geography as a discipline? See here, geography is not just an optional. It is like a lens to understand how the world is. Right? When you are studying about geography, you should not think that geography is just a factual information or geography is like collecting the facts or memorizing the things. Preparing geography for optional in UPSC is different. See, this mindset is very important. When you are having this mindset, then you will be able to tackle the subject for optional in UPSC. See, when the students they prepare with the mindset that in geography I will be looking at locations, I will rectify, I will have mnemonics like that. If you have a factual approach in the subject, then it is not going to, you are not going to fulfill the demand of the subject in UPSC optional particularly, right? So three things here. One is this is not a gamble, right? Any optional for that matter, not only geography, this is not a gamble. Here you have to prepare with certain depth, right? You have to prepare with a particular conscious intention that I am going to complete the subject, right? Second, here the preparation has to be consistent. Consistency is very important in preparation of the optional. And third one is we'll focus on the smart work. Nowadays, as we know that there is lot of information available, right? There is no deficiency of information. You will find that information is there around you through different channels. It is there in, now we are having, this is the age of AI, artificial intelligence and all, where information is present. But if you are trying to look at all the information, then it will be difficult for you to manage the subject. So it here it is smart work, and that can be done by class notes. Then you should have a bank of a diagram, you can have a synoptic note, and then you will have the last one is the current affairs bank, in the sense that you have to collect and assimilate all the topic related to geography from the current affairs. Now see, we will look at what geography provides as an opportunity and what is the preparation strategy in this. So as you are aware, why optional is important in your entire UPSC preparation, because as far as pattern of preparation is concerned, GS में 1000 mark है, optional constitute 500 mark, but this 500 is going to make lot of difference whether you are going to get selected, whether you are going to get your name in the final list or not, whether you are going to get the interview call or not. This will be decided by this 500 mark. Why it is so? Because in this 1000 that is pertaining to GS 1 2 3 4, how much you can get, right? If you see all the toppers and those who have selected also, there is something like average, right? There you will find exceptionally one or two students who have crossed a certain threshold in case of GS. Otherwise the marks are somewhere around 100, 105, 110. This will be the marks, right? Then essay also, it is somewhere averaged, in the sense that it is like 120 125. अगर आप बहुत ज़्यादा exceptionally good है ऐसे में, then you are going to get 140 or 145. But here, if these are not going to improve much, then what matters in your selection is the optional marks. 500 is a deciding factor, right? Therefore, see, optional is the area where it will give you output. Whatever you are investing, you will get the yield out of this in case of optional. But you cannot be sure about what you are going to get in general studies. If you are preparing, let us say, 1 2 3 GS 1 2 3, you are very good at history. Sometimes it may happen that in GS paper pertaining to history you are getting less mark, right? Hence there is more uncertainty related to general studies. Therefore, if you want to be certain, you have to define your score in optional subject. For that matter, optional is important. Now, when you look at why geography should be, right, why you should look at geography as an optional subject, this I'm not saying that I am recommending here. Rather, you can go with the rationality, you can go with the rational decision making. So, geography as an optional, because first factor is it is having a overlap with GS. Second thing is it is a combination of both, that is science as well as humanities. It is not thoroughly abstract like any other humanities subject. It is not like you have to just ratify or mug up the information. It is scientific on other side, scientific in the sense that it is logical, in the sense that for everything in geography there is reasoning. There is something like why, how, what, where. This can be questioned in every topic of geography. Then availability of resources, you have abundant resource available. There are lot many standard books in the subject, right? There is no deficiency of resource here. And if you look at the scoring potential, now scoring potential is there. Now the problem with this, like, as there is a misconception or there is a notion among the aspirant that you cannot score in geography. Now this highly varies from individual to individual, right? So this last point what I have written here as scoring potential, it depends on how you are compatible with the subject and how you have prepared the subject. यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा subjectivity है, we cannot generalize, because in our past experiences we have seen the students, they are some students of the same batch, they are able to score very high. Some, and the same in the same batch the students are there, those who are not able to cross even 250 or 240 marks in the optional. Now what has made a difference is how actually they have prepared the subject, what was their approach in preparing the subject. That is going to decide whether you are going to score in geography as an optional or not. Now, what opportunities the subject provides, what geography provides as an opportunity. If you are looking at, यानी आपको क्या advantage इसमें मिल सकता है if you are compatible with these things. One is it has an advantage of diagram, in the sense that you will be able to express not in words, you can express it in the form of diagrammatic representation. This will fetch you more, right? जैसे there are some students जिनको दिक्कत होती है in writing the sentences, in writing the long paragraph. In such case, geography is there. You will be able to represent the things in the proper diagrammatic format. जहां आपको ये दिक्कत है, जहां पर ये difficulty है that I am not able to write, you will be able to use this thing and certainly get more marks for the same, right? जहां पर आपको लिखने से marks नहीं मिल रहे, उसी चीज में आपको marks मिलेंगे by drawing the diagram, right? This is the first opportunity that you get. Second, it has lot of bridging with current affairs. Jitna particularly you are reading in conventions and protocols and treaties at the international and national level, you find everything is linked with geography, and there are certain chapters which are directly related with such current affairs, right? Just say take example the chapter number 4 and 5 of paper 1, that is bioenvironmental geography. Here you are having all this to be linked. Chapter number 20 of paper 2, paper 2 का जो last chapter है, that is 10 contemporary issue, you have lot of current affairs linkages. So whatever you are reading in GS as a part of conventions treaties, that will be there. Obviously it is very much beneficial in interviews. Jैसे you may get questions related to geopolitics, IR. This can be explained with the help of geographical perspective, and the answers can be, there is an opportunity for enrichment by the use of what, maps, right? Map enrichment can be always there. This is one of the opportunity. अगर ड्राइंग में अच्छे हैं तो ज्योग्राफी आपके लिए एक अपॉर्चुनिटी प्रोवाइड करेगा, राइट? But again I am looking at, see, there is a difference between every student, right? Not every student is same. That is why selection of the optional is based on whether you are compatible with the subject or not, or subject is compatible with you or not, right? ये दो बाई डायरेक्शनल लिंकेज जब तक आप आइडेंटिफाई नहीं करेंगे, then your decision about the optional may not be appropriate. I am not saying here you should select geography, but whatever optional you select, it should be based on whether you are compatible with the subject and subject is compatible with you or not, right? तो इसमें तो ये बिल्कुल है, but like this there will be opportunities in other subjects also. I am not saying that only geography provides. Every subject has its own opportunities. You have to find whether कितना आपका compatibility. I have written here map enrichment, लेकिन हो सकता है some student is there who don't know how to draw even the peninsular India, right? Then how he will be able to tackle the entire geography? So when you don't have a normal basic skill of drawing anything, small diagrammatic representation, then you, if you take such subject, then it will be very difficult for you to come to the level of some other student who is very much refined in representing map, right? तो यहाँ पर फिर it makes a difference. ठीक है? Now see challenges you may encounter when you are preparing for geography as an optional subject. Now we looked at opportunity, now look at the challenges. First issue is covering the syllabus, right? Because here the syllabus consists of 10 chapters in paper 1 and it consists of 10 chapters in paper 2. Covering entire syllabus, and that too in a stipulated time, will be a challenge for most of the students. क्योंकि इसमें क्या है, there is more discreteness of the syllabus. Every topic is well defined. There is nothing like hidden topic in geography. Rather, I will say that there are repeated topics. जैसे if you look at population and settlement geography in paper 1, it is mentioning that theories of or Malthusian, Marx, right, demographic transition, and the same topic is repeated in chapter number 10, that is models and theories as theories of population. तो इस syllabus को geography में in UPSC, what UPSC has done, it has elaborated to an extent that there is no further possibility of what, micro division. लेकिन some subjects will be there, how they are just having one head, और उसके अंदर जो छिपा हुआ syllabus है, whatever hidden is there, that is not mentioned. But in case of geography, what is happening, you will find every topic is well defined in your, when defined in the syllabus. That is also a reason why the syllabus of geography appears to be what, vast, right? Why you are saying, why this misconception is there? Misconception इसलिए भी होता है because every topic is differentiated and detailed में दिया हुआ है in every chapter. For that reason, मतलब in geography you will never have something like hidden agenda or hidden topic का सब topic भी वो syllabus में mention है. For that reason it is going to appear like vast. Covering all the topics, that is very essential, right? See what has changed in optional. If you see the trend before 2013, how was the optional preparation, or any optional for that matter, how it was based on the question paper trend? I am saying if you prepare 6-7 chapter of paper 1 and 6-7 chapter of paper 2, still you will be able to manage 100% attempt in all the questions attempted in exam. लेकिन अभी ऐसा नहीं है. You have to prepare all the chapters. Why it is so? Because the question paper has a mix of mix of question from all the topic. This is question number 1 which consists of 5 question. तो पहले ऐसा होता था that these questions were restricted to few chapter, but 5 questions are there from 5 different chapter, then you will not be having any scope to leave any chapter. So first challenge is completing the entire syllabus. Second issue is conceptual depth. So here I have written no surface level reading, in the sense when you prepare the topic you have to prepare to the depth required for optional. See, same topic is there in GS, but when you are preparing it for GS it is with different approach, and when you are preparing for optional it is different. So conceptual depth is important. Then tackling dynamic part of the syllabus. What is dynamic part? Though dynamic part in geography is relatively less, right? How it is 60 is to 40. 60% is static, right? So जो change नहीं होता है, जैसे geomorphology, it is not going to change. 90% of geomorphology is what? Static. You read it now or you will be reading after 10 years or 20 years also. That part remains what? Remains the same, right? What is changing is only 30 to 40%, where you have to link it with current affairs, and that too it will be there in paper 2. Sir will be explaining how it is. Now, then next challenge what you encounter is time bound preparation. देखो आपके पास complete your optional in 5 to 6 months. Let's say 5 months of classes, and let us say additionally you are having 2 months for consolidating the subject. So it can be something like 5 to 7 months time you are having to complete the syllabus. So time bound, and that will happen only when you are sticking to schedule, right? Then managing resources. अभी हमने देखा है advantage में, what is that? You have लॉट ऑफ रिसोर्स, राइट, लेकिन इसके साथ ये प्रॉब्लम भी बन रहा है, हाउ टू मैनेज ऑल दीज रिसोर्सेस. देखो जितना ज्यादा रिसोर्सेस के कलेक्शन होगा, then it will be difficult for you to manage the information and manage the resources. See, understand that your preparation in the optional is at, there are 3 different levels of preparing the optional subject, right? I look at 3 categories of the student, how they prepare. First level of preparation, first category of the student is what? Who is after resources. मतलब ये बच्चा कैसा है? He keeps on, he look at the syllabus and he try to find the book for that and keep on collecting what? Resources only, right? He will never be able to complete the syllabus. His entire focus is on कहाँ पर क्या टॉपिक मिलता है. He will collect it, but he will never read it. This is the first category of the student who will never be able to complete the syllabus. Second category of the student is perfectionist. Who is perfectionist? He will look at, I will read, I will become perfect, and then I will move to next chapter. He will read geomorphology and he will say that I will complete geomorphology, become perfect and master this geomorphology and then move to climatology. अगर इस तरह से चलेंगे, you will never be able to master geomorphology, first thing, right? अगर आपको थोड़ा बहुत अगर perfection आ भी रहा है, it will take, let us say, 2 to 3 months in doing that particular chapter. Just imagine, if you are doing one chapter in 3 months, how many chapters are there? 20 chapters are there. अगर ये पेज से चलेंगे, how much time you will require to complete? 60 months you will require to complete. मतलब 4-5 साल आपका optionally चलता रहेगा. ये दूसरा category of the student है, right? I am telling out of my experience how generally student approach. Third category जो qualify करते हैं, what is this? The students who read according to demand of exam, right? They don't run after material, neither they run after perfection. They read only those things which are required for exam, and that is where the classes or coaching is helpful, right? So this is another issue, that is managing resources. And last one is answer writing practice. See, geography is about representation, right? दो चीज होती हैं सब्जेक्ट में, एक है what you know and second what you write, right? In other humanities, what will happen? What you know and what you write is almost same, right? जो आपको पता है वही आप लिख रहे हो, and it is almost equal. But in case of geography, what you know and the way you write is slightly different. You have to focus on building the language of the subject, right? That requires practice. So if I'm, let us say, if I'm studying soils of India, I know about all the soils of India. अब जब इसको लिखने जाओगे तो लिखने का तरीका एक अलग होगा. हाउ? यू कैन ड्रॉ वन मैप देयर, राइट? यू कैन ड्रॉ द बाउंड्रीज ऑफ द सॉइल. Means it is more about how you express and how you use the language of the subject. As a examiner, as a professor who is evaluating um, answers of geography as an optional subject, what I am looking for? I am looking for how best geography answers are represented, right? I am looking for language of the subject. I am looking for whether the student is using particular terminology in expressing those things. जैसे हम एक जनरल में लिखते हैं that what is the formation of a front? Just I am giving example. Formation of the front is by convergence of the contrasting air masses or winds, right? Convergence of the contrasting air masses. ये क्या है? Sentence है. This is the language of the subject, right? Convergence of the contrasting air mass. This is the language. If you simplify it, the meaning will not change. But what will happen? The weightage of the sentence will change. अब इसको ऐसे भी लिख सकते हैं. Two different air masses with difference in temperature merge with each other, and that result in formation of the front. जबकि इसमें आपका जो sentence का length बढ़ गया है, right? But what has happened? You have deviated yourself from what? Standard language of the subject. Are you getting my point? तो ये इशू है that you have to, why answer writing practice is required is because you have to depend on or you have to adhere to the language. Now there are two papers here. So if I want to go overall, if you are saying that give me some major segments of paper 1, right? So paper 1 में what you should look at is geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, bioenvironmental, models, theories, perspective and population, right? These are the main chapters that you have to complete. But again, in inside the chapter, जैसे here I have mentioned in geomorphology, two thinkers you have to master, right? What are that? Davis and Peng. मतलब entire geomorphology revolves around these two people, right? Nearly 80% of that chapter revolves around these two. How is climatology? It is conceptual and diagram essential. मतलब you have to, factual nahi hai. This is not factual, right? So here what I am showing is what topic have to be mastered. Anyway, that will tell you again in the classes also. So in case of Indian geography, see Indian geography, it is slightly different from, that is paper 2. I'm talking about paper 2. Again sir will give you more insights here, but to have a general idea, what is how is paper 2 different from paper 1? Paper 1 is majorly what? Static. Paper 2 is both static and dynamic. It is 50 is to 50. I'll say 50 is to 50. 50% static है, 50% से ज्यादा भी बोल सकते हैं आप डायनामिक है. You see, agriculture is dynamic, industry dynamic, transportation dynamic, regional development and planning, all these are dynamic topic. That is why in case of paper 2 you have to have lot of other resources compared to what you are reading. जैसे how you will prepare for paper 2, there is only one book that is required. अगर बुक की बात करेंगे एक ही रिक्वायर्ड है, क्या है? इट इज इंडियन ज्योग्राफी बाय डी.आर. खुल्लर, राइट? लेकिन क्या ये सफिशिएंट है? व्हाट खुल्लर विल गिव यू? खुल्लर विल ओनली गिव यू बेसिक आइडिया ऑफ द टॉपिक. कैन यू आंसर द क्वेश्चन ओनली बाय रीडिंग अ रेफरेंस बुक इन पेपर 2? इसके लिए आपको some other data, जैसे you have to collect information from नीति आयोग or census, this type of official sources you need. you need contemporary issue, you need some additional resources like both national as well as international, like in case of agriculture. So I have some listed some. So you have to look at ministries and their reports, IPCC reports. So here meaning is that you need to integrate the dynamic part with the static part. This is the crux of paper 2. This is making a difference between paper 1 and paper 2. Now this is very important. Okay, what is the best preparation method for optional, right? So here I have divided into 5 parts, right? How you will do your preparation. You are taking the coaching or you are doing it by yourself. First step is your foundation. Foundation will be by NCRT, right? So particularly 11th and 12th class NCRT आपको बिल्कुल थरो करना है. Additionally you can read GC Leong. ठीक है, you can put this GC Leong here also. Then standard books. What is standard? Standard books are which are related to your syllabus, right? What are standard books? जैसे Savinder Singh, physical geography by Savinder Singh, human geography by Majid Hussain sir. So these are some standard. अब जब ये फर्स्ट और सेकंड हो जाए, then you have to look at synoptic notes. Third part will be synoptic notes and diagram bank. I have introduced one term here. What is diagram bank? मतलब synoptic notes आप बनाते हो, उसी तरह you have to make a notes for what diagram I can use in which topic, right? जैसे you are reading geomorphology, you should have a small booklet of all the diagrams that I will be using in this particular chapter, right? So if it is like लेट अस से चैनल मॉर्फोलॉजी, तो चैनल मॉर्फोलॉजी में कितने डायग्राम हो सकते हैं, तो आप एक छोटे छोटे डायग्राम बना लो और उसका लिस्ट बना लो. क्रॉस प्रोफाइल ऑफ अ रिवर, लॉन्ग प्रोफाइल ऑफ अ रिवर, कॉनकेव इक्विलिब्रियम प्रोफाइल ऑफ अ रिवर, इस तरह के व्हाट पॉसिबल डायग्राम्स आर देयर that you have to make a bank of this diagram. Why this I have added is because we look at the recent trends of exam. तो अगर डायग्राम आपको ध्यान में नहीं आ रहा है, ये नोट्स के बराबर ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. इफ यू रिमेंबर द डायग्राम, इट विल बी इजी फॉर यू टू राइट द आंसर. नेक्स्ट स्टेप इज previous year questions and analysis. I will recommend here, don't go for like long back, last 10 years will be sufficing. पहले 10 साल करो, उसके बाद we can see other. And last is you have to be consistent in writing answer. At least my recommendation is 3 answers per week, right? एक week में minimum 3 answer. I am estimating that you all people online and offline, you are preparing for 2027, right? 2027. अगर 2026 के लिए prepare कर रहे हैं, you cannot go with this pace, right? So you are preparing for 27 and now you are starting, then you have to write minimum like 3 to 4 answers per week, right? So these are the 4 we can say steps. See, value addition that we have, how to make a value addition in answer. As you are aware, it can be by improving diagrams and sketches. It can be in paper 2, you can improve by adding maps in Indian geography. देखो, use of this is very important in geography. How you will make a feel, how you will make examiner feel that this is a optional answer is by including names of thinkers, theories, models, right? This makes lot of difference. If you want to show that no, I am not writing for GS, I am writing for optional, then you have to look at these things also. And last is integration, wherever possible, integrate with current affairs, right? तो अगर आप ये देखेंगे last 20 years, what has changed in geography as a trend of questions? Look at last 10 years, what has changed from 2015 से अभी तक क्या change हुआ है? You can look at first thing, the questions have become more interdisciplinary. Nearly 50 to 60% of your paper is where questions are generally interlinked. right? Interdisciplinary. They are not like only restricted to one particular chapter, and this happens more in paper. Which one? पेपर वन और पेपर टू दिस हैपन्स मोर इन पेपर 2 आपको ये दिक्कत होगी कि क्या ये क्वेश्चन एग्रीकल्चर का है या क्वेश्चन रीजनल प्लानिंग का है द क्वेश्चन इज फ्रेम्ड इन सच अ वे दैट इट ओवरलैप्स विद टू और थ्री चैप्टर्स नेक्स्ट द क्वेश्चंस आर बिकमिंग मोर एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड राइट तो अगर मान लो आप रिवर्स स्टडी कर रहे हैं they are not asking you about the drainage pattern they will ask you about the application of this in flood management ho sakta hai in that way right so it is application based it is more becoming focused on current affairs right at least knowing the topic in news that will be important in studying geography as an optional then greater use of data and case studies and that too again it will be there in paper so initially itself I told paper 2 is more oriented towards current affairs and last one it is like critical analysis अभी वो दौर चला गया जब क्वेश्चन होते थे very static question explain plate tectonic theory now nobody is going to ask you this even they are not asking this in gs right plate tectonic is a fundamental topic but it is not that you are going to get 40 mark or 30 mark or 20 marker now there is no 30-40 marker in the present pattern maximum is 20 mark 20 marker एक plate tectonic पे आ जाए ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है तो एग्जामिनर का थॉट क्या है what examiner is thinking by allocating less mark I should evaluate the student for what कम मार्क देकर इवेल्युएट कितने ज्यादा से ज्यादा सब्जेक्ट पे किया जाए राइट गिव लेस मार्क एंड इवेल्युएट स्टूडेंट फॉर more topic right that is why it becomes more interdisciplinary and critical analysis based question right now this is very important slide what are common mistakes that you do generally in optional one issue is ignoring names and names of geographer that is ignoring thinkers कई बार ऐसा होता है कि स्टूडेंट प्रिपेयर्स द टॉपिक ही अंडरस्टैंड द टॉपिक बट ही निग्लेक्ट्स very basic information names of a geographer who have followed that particular model जैसे मान लो आप डेविसियन मॉडल पढ़ रहे हो तो डेविस के बाद who are the followers who were adhering to this principle of Davis तो आपको वो सारे नाम पता होना चाहिए right so it is not that you only know Davis you should know all the related you should know their years of in which year they contributed and if they have written some paper some book some publication tha their title their quotes right that has to be this is the demand of nowadays this is required ठीक है next is स्टूडेंट थिंक्स दैट नहीं हम जैसे जीएस में लिखते हैं उसी तरह से कंटिन्यूअसली लिखेंगे दिस इज नॉट गोइंग टू हैपन यू हैव टू इम्प्रूव ऑन डायग्रामेटिक रिप्रेजेंटेशन डू नॉट राइट लाइक जीएस राइट क्वेश्चन हो सकता है सेम हो particularly in paper 2 it will happen the appearance of the question is like gs but can you write like gs there because you are writing in optional you cannot write in the style of gs right and last is you are following outdated information right so jitna contemporary hai suppose you are writing in 2027 you should have the data and information at least up to 2020 2026 don't write about what was there pre covid or 22 में 21 में क्या था उस टाइम पे जो एग्जाम लिखा होगा they have written that right but when you are writing in 27 you have to use all the fresh and contemporary information examples and case study now this is going to be very important thing about how we plan right if you are doing it by yourself also so this is like what I feel right 1 to 2 months you will be going for basic reading of NCERT right this you can go along with the classes first and second month is for NCERT and standard book third and fourth month you can go for previous year question जैसे when we start the classes also In 1 month, the significant amount of syllabus is covered, 1 or 2 months. After that, you can jump to previous year question paper. तो पहले ये करेंगे first step and then second step. Third is after, that is end of your course or fifth and sixth month, you can go with what test, right? Writing weekly test or writing the full test and then evaluation of this. And last 7 and 8 month or 6 or 7 month, you can have 1 or 2 months का इसमें थोड़ा सा पेस ले सकते हैं. And this will be like revision and integration with the current affairs, right? So, and how many revisions? That is very important. How many revision? In case of optional, at least you should have 3 revision, right? 3 revision. Then only it will get consolidated. Remember, it is not for only geography. Whatever optional you are preparing, you need to have at least 3 revision. This is my personal opinion and also based on the experience. क्या है, पहले आप सिलेबस कंप्लीट कर रहे हैं, आफ्टर दैट द फर्स्ट रिवीजन which is going along with your classes, second revision that can be, that is monthly consolidation, right? And third, this will be after completion of the syllabus. Here I am not saying that revision has to be done class 5 months karo uske baad another revision, like that if you do, it will take what, 1 year to complete. I am not doing or I am not recommending in this way. What you have to do, as you are preparing, they say 1 week classes is done, you have to revise, that is first week, right? 1 month classes are over, you have to revise the entire thing along with weekly revision, right? It is something like wheel in wheel concept, right? So this will be your revision strategy. The resources I have covered. So this also we have covered to most of the extent. Foundation, visual. इसमें एक चीज important है, in strategy, जैसे foundation is there, smart revision is there, visual excellence. This is one of the another important requirement of geography as a subject. What is visual excellence? You should be able to visualize, right? आप एक visual concept को सिर्फ theoretical नहीं देख रहे हो, you are trying to visualize what the subject or what that topic is. तो अगर आपको ये कहा जा रहा है there is a river flowing from so and so, तो आपके mind में the image of the river should be built, right? That is known as visualization. जब तक ये strong नहीं रहेगा, you will not be able to get a hold on the topics in optional, right? So this is additional here. And see, if I want to conclude, what it will be, see, first thing is, it is a optional geography is a strategic choice, in the sense that it is not for everyone. First thing, when you choose, it obviously means that you are compatible with the subject. It is not a general, what do you say, choice of the subject. It is not that everyone can enter and learn geography. ये strategic decision होगा, strategic choice होगा, conscious decision होगा, ठीक है? It is not like other subject, just you enroll and start reading and you will start understanding. Those who have interest will understand, ठीक है? Second, it has to be approached in a balanced way. You have to balance between the topics here. जैसे paper 1, you have to balance between section A and section B. You have to balance between paper 1 and paper 2. You cannot have a lopsided preparation. What do you mean by that? And we cannot also teach in a lopsided manner. That is why we are having a team of 3 expert teachers here. इसमें ऐसा नहीं कि if I just how it will be, just imagine if I teach 2.5 month geomorphology, another 1.5 month climatology, and 5 days what, oceanography, and another 5 days perspective, how it appears to be? It appears to be imbalanced, है ना? आप कितना भी geomorphology पढ़ लो, you read it for 1 month or 2 months or 2 year, how much you are going to attempt is not more than what UPSC is going to ask. ये आएगा कितना? 35 marks का ही आएगा, 30 से 35 marks. That is why you have to have a balanced approach. It cannot be decided based on whether the teacher likes the topic or not, or student like the topic or not, आपको पढ़ना ही है, because it is going to be there as a part of your question paper. I hope you are going to get this. This is very, very important, right? Balancing between the things. Last one is, if you summarize, and discipline and success, that is there. If you summarize: foundation, diagrams, writing, revision, right? These are the four things. If you combine together with consistency, this will help you to score in geography as an optional subject, right? As far as classes are concerned, see, this is what we are going to provide at Vajiram and Ravi. After you make a decision, the batch starts on 22nd of April. This batch will be for 5 months. See, three teachers will be dealing with the subject. I'll be dealing part of paper 1, most of the part of paper 1. Ma'am will be dealing with bioenvironmental and population. We'll give you the segregation of, and Shivar Pitsab, he will be dealing with paper 2. Then प्रिंटेड मटेरियल अलॉन्ग विद क्लास नोट्स तो आप लिखेंगे, उसके साथ प्रिंटेड मटेरियल भी मिलेगा और हैंड आउट भी रहेंगे, राइट? Our intention of giving printed material is you should not depend on multiple external sources. आपका डिपेंडेंसी ज्यादा बुक्स पे ना हो, it should be on what we have provided during the classes. Answer writing, that will be there as a part of your assignment as well as test, right? Test and assessment, that is there. And obviously this is there because teachers are available offline and online. You will be able to ask them doubts, right? So batch is, as far as structure is there, 22nd of April. This will be, we estimate 5 to 5.5 months duration of the class. 6 days a week, some week 5 days, or some week it is 6 days, some week it will be 7 days also, it depends on, but be ready for at least 6 days classes, and it is daily like 2.5 hours class, right? So this will be your format in which the classes will be held. Okay, so this is how you are going to prepare for optional. I have given you a brief roadmap or brief blueprint about geography as an optional subject, right? So now if you are having doubts both online and offline, we can take up some of them.
So if you have any questions. So it has not been finalized, but most probably it will be from 2:30 to 5 o'clock. 2.5 hours of class, 6 days a week. Yes, ma'am.
Taking the time in part of the subject, if someone is having the retention, what would be the ideal time to start reading?
But so you will take a lot of time to first understand the topics. So if let's say the current affairs part is also to be seen, it may not change as fast. So it is good that you start reading the newspapers. You start practicing current affairs as of now. There might be certain changes, but 1 or 2 years of gap, it's not going to make much of a difference. Your optional preparation should be ready. Your optional subject should be ready before you appear for the prelims examination. That has to be the goal, because after you are done with the prelims, you cannot prepare the subject in just 2 or 3 months, whatever time is given to you. Take it.
So let's say I'm not competitive with ASIR as optional and not.
See, if you have interest in both the topic subjects, then in that case, I would suggest that look at the previous year's questions. Okay, if you have any fair idea related to, let's say, either geography or PSIR, look at the previous year's questions. If you don't have any background of either of these two subjects, then in that case you can refer to the NCRTs of these two subjects. Let's say NCRT of class 12th of geography, NCRT of class 12th of political science, and then you look at the questions. Whatever topic is better for you, then in that case you take a decision on that.
Sir, what are the basic minimum things we must come before starting our?
For the topics that I'm going to take, then in that case, even you come as a beginner, that would be okay with me. Because I would start my topic once the paper one is complete. So once sir has given you the basics of geography, ma'am has given you the basics of environment, uske baad my topic of Indian geography starts. So for me, as a teacher, I would find people who are already aware about the paper one syllabus. First, ma'am can tell you better.
For the optional as a whole, you will need to be covering NCRTs. If you have basic understanding of NCRTs, it's great. I mean, that's an added edge, right? Otherwise, the classes will be structured in a manner that the basics will be taught to you. So you don't have to be overly anxious about it. कि basics मैंने NCRT नहीं पढ़ा, but it's always an added edge if you're familiar with a few terms in the classrooms, because that will improve your understanding. And while others are just at the starting or at the nascent stage of understanding the simple terms, you perhaps will be at a better stage where you can attempt a few extra questions, isn't it? So it's always better that you're through with simple reading of NCRTs. That will be good.
See, Sai Verma, I would suggest you that you at least refer to certain books like Sabinder Singh in paper one or D.R. Kuller in paper two. These are two basic books that you will have to refer to.
And Majid Hussain for human geography.
Majid Hussain for human geography. Yes, sir.
Paper one, Majid Hussain, human geography as well. Apart from what the sir said, Sai, paper one, Majid Hussain, human geography. Timing of the class, Sai, I think we told that it's going to be at 2:30 p.m. 2:30 to 5 p.m.
So the understanding of this standard book should be selective or the thorough understanding.
For D.R. Kuller, you cannot read the book cover by cover. It is a very lengthy book. It is going to have a number of topics which may not be very much relevant for the examination. Now, even Dr. Kuller is asked to write the book again, he would not be able to write the same thing. The point is that it will have a lot of things which are copied from a number of other sources. You may not need to read the book cover by cover or cover to cover. So there will be certain topics that I would suggest you, if you are part of our syllabus, that you need to read.
And likewise for every other faculty, whichever topics are to be read from the books, the teachers are going to tell you those topics. We can ask you someday to get the book in the classroom, right? Let's say population and settlement wala part is going on in the class. So we'll tell you ki le aana apni Majid Hussain. To le aoge Majid Hussain, we'll tell you which all topics to be read from the book, to be covered from the book. Puri book nahi karni hai, like sir said. For none of the units, you have to go through the entire book.
What are kind of materials segregated? Will they be topic wise or additional to that topic?
Yes, additional for different units, the approach is going to be different. It will be additional to what is being covered in the class. So what's being covered in the class notes will be given to you of what explanations are going on in the class, and everything will be explained. Now, in case you need something additional to that, that will be given to you as part of handout, along with few discussions of the class can be repetitive in the content being given to you, printed material being given to you. But if there is something more sir would like to add, he can.
See, for let's say I'm looking at a topic like population geography in paper two. There are a lot of facts to be studied here. Let's say census data. So we cannot cover all of that in class. I'll give you the concepts in the class. We'll discuss the questions, and then the facts would be given to you in the form of a handout.
Isn't it the interdisciplinary nature and the dynamic nature of the subject make it more unpredictable and the syllabus itself very vast? that it is mentioned in the UPSC website or syllabus.
Unpredictable, it is not. Dynamic for some units, it is, like sir explained. For some of the units, yes, there is a bit of dynamism because current affairs and the static part, both of them need to be integrated. Um, does it make it challenging? I think with adequate practice, you will not find it that challenging. I mean, you are at a stage wherein you are just knowing a few terms and going through the PYQs. You may find it challenging, but with practice, I think it's manageable. Rather, it's one of the optionals which is manageable. Is the syllabus vast? It's definitely not short. It's definitely not concise. Right? Is it, do you have to apply your cognition? Do you have to be working hard for it? You have to be knowing the analysis part of it. Yes, definitely you need to do all that. You need to practice well. Yes, definitely answer writing practice, you need to do that very well. I think with the right inputs in place, with the right input strategy of preparation in place, the optional is fairly manageable. I will still say that. इतना भी कुछ पहाड़ जैसा नहीं है, right?
It is
Manageable.
not unpredictable at all. So a number of times you'll look at the questions, you'll find questions getting repeated. The same question in the past, let's say 15 years, has been asked thrice. So had it been unpredictable, then in that case, those questions would have been entirely different. Chandan, most of students that don't read the object subject, let's say a month or two before the prelims test, and that is also the correct approach. So, but if you are, let's say, having a good hold over the prelims topic, then in that case you can refer to the optional subject even before the prelims examination, and after the prelims, your optional preparation has to be more important. So on the Kaushik, it can be done through the practice.
I think the question Ronak has, some of others over here may have that. He says that I'm not that good at diagram making, but I have interest in the optional. I mean, interest in geography as an optional. So that's why sir said that if diagram making you feel as the limitation, with practice that will come.
Now the static part is done in the class itself with class notes and standard books. But what about the dynamic part? Like how we can, what approach we can apply when reading the newspaper? Like what is the information that need to be retrieved from the newspaper for the geography?
Now, it is not just that only the static part is covered in the class, the dynamic part is very much being covered in the class, right? Let's say when the batch begins from the month of April and goes on for till the month of August or something, the current affairs which have been shaping up in the last 2 years, along with that, the current affairs which will shape up in the months coming up, entire thing will be covered in the class, whatever is relevant to our syllabus. Once you have an entire understanding of what has happened in a particular topic over the last couple of years, your own understanding of what all to pick up from the newspaper, even when the classes get over, is going to get developed. So the point over here is that you yourself become capacitated to know what all to know from the newspaper. Your question is, how do I know what to pick up from the newspaper and link it with my syllabus? You will develop that capacity. That's the entire purpose of having the classroom series with you, of classroom lectures with you, right? A bit of hand holding in the initial days is going to empower you to do that exercise. So don't be bothered ki newspaper, pehle to dynamic part will be covered in the class. But we will only be able to cover the current affairs which have unfolded till then, isn't it? What happens in the current affairs post the completion of your course? You will keep on linking that with the syllabus because by then you yourself will have the capacity to do that.
I will be like upgrading in 2028. So right now I don't have to worry how to read the newspaper talk.
You don't have to worry about it, but you must start learning that. Because newspaper reading anyway is going to be a very, very important part of your overall preparation for GS as well, for geography as well. So if you're going to join from April itself, then gradually you will develop that skill, how to read the newspaper. But right now, since we are in the month of Feb, somewhere on Feb has already ended, somewhere from the month of March, you can start with the newspaper reading. That will be rather those of you who are preparing for 2028, who are going to appear in 2028, this is the right time for you to be starting with the newspaper reading, because to get into the momentum of newspaper reading, to be developing the ability to understand how it is to be done correctly for your exam, that itself takes a month or more than a month. So give yourself that time. If you have the time, use the luxury of time you have. Do not waste it. तो उसको पढ़ना शुरू करो, right? Newspaper को पढ़ना शुरू करो. Once the classes begin, we will tell you better how to use the newspaper for your own syllabus of geography optional. But right now, overall, you have the syllabus. No, you have the syllabus of geography optional. You have the syllabus of GS. Read through the syllabus over and over. And then when you're reading through the newspaper, at a very, very preliminary stage, which is this, what you can do is once you go through any article, at least you can have a broad idea in your own mind that where all this article is going to be finding its own application in your syllabus. Let's say you read something related to carbon markets, right? Now, you have the syllabus with you, GS as well, geography optional as well. You must have a fair amount of idea कि यार carbon markets will become essential for my GS environment part, and for environment geography, carbon markets wala part can become important. Let's say you read something to article related to population decline happening in the world in the future, in the coming decades, right? Or you read something related to international relations. So as a part of your syllabus, you have these topics listed down. So when you're reading through the syllabus over and over again, you're becoming more and more familiar with what the syllabus says. And then a quick exercise, mental exercise you can do yourself, is that when you read any article in the newspaper, are you yourself able to establish the connect between what you read and your syllabus? That's a good way to begin. Yes, you are.
Is it okay if I study only class notes and go to the class? I'm going to study.
You don't have to go through the standard books entirely. I mean, like sir said, from cover to cover.
No, in that case,
See,
that won't be very okay.
Yes, it's a competitive exam. The better you write, higher marks you fetch. Right? So if somebody wants to get low marks, then it's okay. But if somebody wants to score well, then you must expand the coverage. But revision becomes easier when you are making smart notes of what you're going through, right? Rather than limiting the sources, let's make the note making better.
So those are basically reference books. That means there will be some part of the syllabus that we may not have been dealing in the class, but that may have an outside chance of being asked by the examiner. So you cannot completely leave the topics. You have to refer to the standard books, at least for some of the topics. Okay. For the topics that we are doing in class, that would be more than enough.
So the answer writing program is going to be of the initial set of the course or in the later bit?
It would vary. When I take up a topic, then in that case, the mode of teaching would be, because the students that come to me, they are already very well aware about the syllabus. They know about the basics of geography of paper 1, what Sir Ravi Madam must have taken. So What I do as a teacher is that I will take up a topic, let's say monsoon. I will list down all the questions of the monsoon. We will discuss this topic, and then we will discuss the questions in the class, the PYQs. And then you are encouraged to write the questions. You write the questions, you get it checked on that particular day, or let's say after 4 days, 5 days, you're writing an answer, you give it to me. I will evaluate it, and then uske baad we may have a test as well. Okay. Sir and madam, they have a different pattern.
More or less, we are going with answer writing practice along with the classes, right? Say we begin on 22nd, maybe 1 week we require to get into the main theme of the chapter. Once you start understanding to certain level, we make you write assignments, right? So it will go throughout your course, one or the other way, maybe as a part of assignment. उसके बाद कुछ test हो जाएगा. With every chapter I'll generally conduct one test, right? So it is there. Weekly test is not there. Assignment will be there. Test will be after completion of a chapter. So suppose we have done geomorphology, we'll conduct one test on geomorphology. But when you are covering in class that chapter, you will be writing answers like one question or two question every 2 days or every 1 day, like that.
Your test makes a sense once you're prepared, and your preparation is through practice. So once you write 10 PYQs on a particular topic, then if I give you a question, then you should be able to write the 11th question. Okay, so if you have not done the practice, then writing a test does not make much of a sense.
Any other queries? See, standard books, as one of you were asking.
In general studies, a lot of portion of paper 1 GS mains examination and paper 3 GS mains examination is part of a geography syllabus. If I talk about paper 2, then it covers a lot of topics of paper 1. Paper 1 GS. For example, the topics related to population geography, they are part of a society related topics. The topics related to industries in geography paper 2, they are part of again paper 1 GS syllabus. Then if you look at your questions related to topics related to the industries, there's a topic special economic zone, that is again part of paper 3. Okay, infrastructure, irrigation, that is part of paper 3 general studies. So a lot of overlap will be seen. SMA, there used to be a time when a number of questions every year, at least one question was from geography. Abhi the pattern has seen a lot of change. Okay.
Most of the present essay pattern, you find none of the subject is overlapping in essay. More they are turning to be like a philosophical type of essays nowadays, rather than having overlap with GS. Like when you understand geography, you will be able to relate the things, right? You can have a better understanding of representing the information.
Mukesh Tiwari, it may not always be the case. Is Sunday going to be holiday? Most of the times it will be, but sometimes we may take an extra class.
Really good idea to go through the PYQs before completion of a chapter. So wait for completion of chapter.
No, you should first study the topic, then you look at the PYQs. That would be a better approach.
Anything else? Online?
So that's it, I guess. The best wishes to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.